why you are here?
Yo, what up, what up? It's your man, Big Brandon Carter, BBC. Today I want to talk about 5 surprising ways to naturally boost testosterone levels. I have other videos on more traditional ways of boosting testosterone levels naturally. I'll put links to those in the description. But these are like more abstract ways, unconventional ways that are proven to work. I'll put links to studies that corroborate all 5 of the suggestions I give you. Another thing you can do to increase testosterone is surround yourself with beautiful women. I'll post a link to this study, and I think I have 2 studies that show that just being around beautiful women increases your testosterone levels. So if you got a hot fucking girlfriend or just female friends that you're around, the more you go around them, the better that's going to be for your testosterone production. And I don't think that sounds very far-fetched. Just from a reproductive standpoint, it's easy to see why that would happen. From an evolutionary standpoint, it's easy to see why testosterone levels will rise when you see a beautiful woman, right? Because you want to mate with her, you want to make some fucking kids, right? It's all, I mean, when it boils down to it, all this shit is about reproduction. Goddamn, almost everything you do is about reproduction, whether you're aware of it or not. So here's one study showing it. I'll post a link, and here's an additional study that corroborates it. It also says that being around beautiful women make you take more risk. You know, so like there's a downside to it. You might start getting a little reckless, this study says. So I'll post a link to it so you can check it out. I'm a reckless motherfucker by nature, so you know it's not really not something I concern myself with. The next step, how to naturally increase your testosterone level. So here's a study that shows that watching sports will increase testosterone levels if your team wins, right? And if your team loses, your testosterone levels will drop. I'll post a link to the study, man, but it's kind of fascinating. In the study, they had 2 groups of guys, and they were watching some fucking sport, and they were watching World Cup or some shit. They took their testosterone levels prior to the event and after the event, and testosterone levels increased in the fans of the winning team and decreased in the fans of the losing team. Fuck. So, like, if you're a Jets fan, if you're a New York Jets fan, your testosterone is all fucked up. And this is why I had to stop watching the Bears, man. I can't have Jay Cutler and Brandon Marshall fucking up my testosterone levels. I got shit to do, man. So I had to stop watching Bears games, man. Cause these guys, I'm not letting them fuck with me. I'll post a link to the study. It's kind of fascinating, you know. To me, I think it's interesting. Another way to increase your testosterone levels is to meditate. You know, I meditate all the time, man. I do it twice a day, in the morning and at night. Really, I started meditating to keep myself off the motherfucking wanted list, right? To keep, because I'm a little volatile, you know, and I just hate to. It started as a means for me to just keep my mind in check, and it's helped me in so many different areas of my life. I can't really explain it to you. I have so much more control of my emotions. I'm a lot calmer in a good way. Like when people are stressed out about shit and worried about shit, I'm kind of just like, yeah, you know, I can handle it. And it's not so much that it increases testosterone levels, it lowers stress hormone levels. The more you're stressed out, the more cortisol the body will produce, and then, you know, and everyone knows or should know that cortisol will dramatically decrease testosterone levels. Study, I'll post a link to it, and they talk about this form of meditation. In this study, they're talking about the effects of transcendental meditation and how it changes hormone levels. But I would assume that any sort of meditation will have similar results. Then again, I'm not a fucking scientist. To make the long story short, this was a 4-week study. At the end of the study, cortisol levels had decreased amongst the group that meditated. Both testosterone and growth hormone levels increased, you know, in the group that meditated. So, I mean, it's right here. You can post I'll post a link to the study. You can check it out, man. One quick way to boost testosterone levels is to change your physiology. Here's a psychologist. She'll explain it more. I'll post a link to this video.
So I want to start by offering you a free, no-tech life hack. And all it requires of you is this, that you change your posture for 2 minutes, nonverbal expressions of power and dominance. And what are nonverbal expressions of power and dominance? Well, this is what they are. So in the animal kingdom, they are about expanding. So you make yourself big, you stretch out, you take up space, you're basically opening up. It's about opening up. And this is true across the animal kingdom. It's not just limited to primates, and humans do the same thing. So they do this both when they have power sort of chronically, and also when they're feeling powerful in the moment. And this one is especially interesting because it really shows us how universal and old these expressions of power are. This expression, which is known as pride, Jessica Tracy has studied, she shows that people who are born with sight and people who are congenitally blind do this when they win at a physical competition. So when they cross the finish line and they've won, it doesn't matter if they've never seen anyone do it, they do this. So the arms up in the V, the chin is slightly lifted. What do we do when we feel powerless? We do exactly the opposite. We close up, we wrap ourselves up, we make ourselves small. We don't want to bump into the person next to us. So again, both animals and humans do the same thing. So we know that our minds change our bodies. Is it also true that our bodies change our minds? And when I say minds, in the case of the powerful, what am I talking about? So I'm talking about thoughts and feelings and the sort of physiological things that make up our thoughts and feelings. And in my case, that's hormones. I look at hormones on two key hormones, testosterone, which is the dominance hormone, and cortisol, which is the stress hormone. High-power alpha males in primate hierarchies have high testosterone and low cortisol. And powerful and effective leaders also have high testosterone and low cortisol. So what does that mean? When you think about power, people tended to think only about testosterone because that was about dominance. But really, power is also about how you react to stress. In primate hierarchies, if an alpha needs to take over, if an individual needs to take over an alpha role sort of suddenly, within a few days, that individual's testosterone has gone up significantly and his cortisol has dropped significantly. So we have this evidence, both that the body can shape the mind, at least at the facial level, and also that role changes can shape the mind. So what happens, okay, you take a role change, what happens if you do that at a really minimal level, like this tiny manipulation, this tiny intervention? For 2 minutes you say, I want you to stand like this, and it's going to make you feel more powerful. This is what we did. We decided to bring people into the lab and run a little experiment. And these people adopted for 2 minutes either high power poses or low power poses. And I'm just going to show you 5 of the poses, although they took on only 2. So here's one, a couple more. This one has been dubbed the Wonder Woman by the media. Here are a couple more. So you can be standing or you can be sitting. And here are the low power poses. So you're folding up, you're making yourself small. They come in, they spit into a vial. We, for 2 minutes, say, you need to do this or this. They don't look at pictures of the poses. We don't want to prime them with the concept of power. We want them to be feeling power, right? So 2 minutes they do this. From their baseline when they come in, high power people experience about a 20% increase, and low power people experience about a 10% decrease. So again, 2 minutes and you get these changes. Here's what you get on cortisol. High power people experience about a 25% decrease, and the low power people experience about a 15% increase. So 2 minutes lead to these hormonal changes that configure your brain to basically be either assertive, confident, and comfortable, or really stress reactive, and feeling sort of shut down. And we've all had that feeling, right? So it seems that our nonverbals do govern how we think and feel about ourselves. So it's not just others, but it's also ourselves. Also, our bodies change our minds.
So that's something any of us can do. You can change your physiology in order to boost testosterone. Your physiology affects your testosterone. People might think that sounds crazy, but your physiology can control a lot of your hormones. Like if you smile, there's been studies that show just the act of smiling or laughing can increase serotonin and dopamine production in your brain. This is like how you hold yourself, how you carry yourself. It has an effect on your hormone. That's like when Elliot says your body is your mind. This is what the fuck he's talking about, And then here's another study, I'll post a link to it, about how shooting guns actually increased testosterone levels. They had 2 groups of guys. They took one group and had them shoot guns. They gave them testosterone test before and after they shot a bunch of guns. And the fucking I think in this sense they were shooting desert eagles. I shot a desert eagle before. I think I got a video of me shooting desert eagle, busting off desert eagles. So after they were busting off them desert eagles, their testosterone levels had increased significantly. And you know, if I had to guess, I would imagine it was the reason for that is probably just from, you know, evolutionary. Back in the day, you know, like almost every man probably had to fight. The majority of men in the community or the tribe would have the responsibility of protecting the tribe, you know, against other, against predators and other tribes. And that's why you guys love video games, right? Because most of you aren't actively, you know, in combat unless you are in the military. And you guys love video games because it mimics what you would have had to do, you know, in the tribal days. You get a chance to mimic how your ancestors had to behave on a regular basis. But anyway, I would imagine it has something to do with that. Like, I don't want to get into a gun debate like I'm a fucking gun nut, because I'm not. But I do have guns, not because I'm not part of the NRA or nothing like that. It's just, but I'm like one of them crazy people. Like, did you see on Doomsday Preppers? Like, I got mad shit stacked away, man, just in case shit goes down. And I got guns and I got weapons. And I might be on that show, Doomsday Preppers. I'll be the first black man on Doomsday Preppers. I'll be wearing a Gucci hazmat suit. Cause you gotta look fly in apocalypse, man. I don't care. I gotta look fly all the time, even in apocalypse. You can call me the Apoca Pimp. That'd be my name, the Apoca Pimp, man. You know what I'm saying? Shooting zombies with some Versace shades on. Yo, but anyway, I hope that shit helps. Maybe it didn't. Maybe I'm just rambling. Everything I said, I'll put links to all the studies I mentioned in the description, so you can check them out. I find this shit fascinating, how your mind can control your hormone levels, you know. If you also, in the description, I'll put a link of the more traditional ways to boost testosterone levels. You know, more sleep, vitamin D, zinc, Brazil nuts, manipulating your cholesterol levels, shit like that. I'll put the links to the video I did on that in the description below. But anyway, hope that shit helps. Peace.